Moncayo Club House is the building that located at the entry point to the neighborhood, serving as a recognizable landmark for inhabitants and visitors alike. A key feature of Moncayo is the elevated slender structure, which extends over a roadway to offer better views of the surroundings and signals the entrance to the complex from afar. Sleeping City's remarkable landmark that is very abstract of Moncayo Club House. I am Barkayangin, founder of BEA Plus, and I am going to talk about my personal thoughts about Moncayo Club House. Moncayo Club House is a community center for a typical middle-class sleeping city in the outskirts of Mexico City. Architecture practice ICONICO Studio has designed this community center near Mexico City to bridge an earthy wall and a stone plinth. But what is Sleeping City? I think what architect meant here can be seen in picture because this area is nothing but white houses and car roads before the clubhouse. This bare land is a land that does not allow decent urban life and restricts people to do any activity together. That's why architects called here as a sleeping city. On a social level, the project is an attempt at giving back some of the urbanity a sleeping city. It intends to bring people together and fulfills their needs of community life. At the neighborhood scale, accent colors create a unity effect. In the buildings that make up the neighborhood, many colors and their variants are used, mostly from the same color group and less from contrasting color groups. The harmony of colors with nature and the environment is generally given importance. The general rule in coloring is that whether the dominance is in cold colors or warm colors, there should still be some space for the opposite colors. However, aesthetically, Moncayo Club House is achieved contrasting to the well-known single-family housing typologies in the neighborhood, but also to the colorful earthy walls of its surroundings. Disposing of a clear volumetric language, the entrance arch is undoubtedly an aesthetical element. However, breaking down the mass and scale of the building both horizontally and vertically, and making surface differences led to prevention of the overpowering and monotonous effect against whitewashed neighborhood. Besides loosening the mass for a delicate transition to the outdoor space and softening its borders by introducing autonomous elements once more, disclose the building and will make it closer to the human being. When we look at the building, there is a beautiful black stone wall at the bottom, which is kind of this idea of anchoring the club into the natural environment. That's why we can say that the building here sits with its back to the hill. Observe it from any vantage point in the surrounding area. Then you will see the building's head lifting up to look over the city's landscape. Also, the use of darker colors at the base of the building can lend a sense of visual lightness. These focal points not only enrich the aesthetics of the project, but also help the building stand out in the urban context, giving it memorability and an iconic aura. Also, glass and metal mesh covered cross-bracing metallic structure supports the feeling of lightness. Moreover, spaces with rough textured surfaces are perceived as smaller than spaces of the same size with soft textured surfaces. In this way, the proportion between the black natural stone facade on the ground floor and the lighter volume above is taken to a more dramatic level. That's why top level of building looks like it's levitating in the air. In the interior, we can see that the use of the monochromatic palette with details including black mosaic tiles with reflective speckles on the wall and black tiles on the floor in the bathroom, white colored wooden doors and black cross-bracing metallic structure also contributing to monochrome color palette and coldness of both materials and color palette. Pieces of wood furniture situated complement the palette with warmer tones and make reference to the earthy appearance of its natural surroundings. In the terrace, opposite to the other sides of structure, the feeling is mostly warmer. The pine wood flooring, wooden furniture, and colorful earthy surroundings, used in contrast to the coldness brought by the natural stone, metal, and white drywall on the ceiling, balances this coldness and gives a warmer look. The excess of soil in this proportion also causes this warmth. Water also provides evaporative cooling in this area, providing extra comfort for people sunbathing. In the gym part, metal mesh covers the glass to offer glimpses of the cross-bracing metallic structure. This design helps maintain the privacy of the visitors and provides shade from the area's harsh sunlight. Gray vinyl floor tiles and white drywall on the ceiling contributes the monochrome color palette of the gym. Also, all these choices were darker in appearance to contrast the light that we get into space. I think the biggest disadvantage of this space is that this space looks claustrophobic even for the glass ratio used. The biggest reason for this is the low ceiling height. White, of course, makes the ceiling look higher and lighter than it is, but the choice of a mirror or shiny metal to be used on the ceiling would not only increase this volume by 2 times, but also strengthen the glimpses of light in this space. We can see the examples of this in the pavilions in the pictures. When we look at the color palette of the building and its environment, the choice of materials used in the building is simple and minimal, based on a monochromatic palette, which is opposite with the natural color palette and harmonical with the white dwellings. The use of the monochromatic palette is continued inside the building, with details including black mosaic tiles with reflective speckles in the bathroom. Pieces of wood furniture situated on the terraces complement the palette with warmer tones and make reference to the earthy appearance of its natural surroundings. This palette continues in the corridors and is supported by the stone flooring, which contains shades of gray. We can say that the only area that remains monotonous in this design is the corridors. I think the reason for this is the stairs that do not disturb the monochrome color palette. If metal-colored stairs were used in this part, different effects could be achieved with a different color palette in the interior design. Even though Moncayo's monochrome color palette looks monotonous, its mass design, wood usage, and envelope makes it far from monotonous. Considering all its features, the biggest feature that attracted me to this project is its architecture isn't protagonist of the environment. Even Moncayo Club House is the protagonist in the neighborhood. The real protagonist in the surrounding area is the colorful, earthy walls. Creating this balance is something we should praise more because everything in architecture about proportions and creating balance. It is the bridge between earthy wall and a stone plinth. Thus, Moncayo Club House minimized the existence of architecture to minimize the volume as much as possible, and through that process, people can feel comfortable with the communication of the building.